we have none other than Dr. Randal Pinkett is in the house. Dr. Pinkett has worked with some of the largest companies, Fortune 500s in the world, as in diversity and inclusion. His company has had billion-dollar contracts with the federal government to help them understand how to allocate funds into our urban communities. He has 5 degrees. Yes. And he not only knows the book, but he can put things into action. He's no stranger to Omaha. So let's please, once again, welcome our dear friend, Dr. Randal Pinkett. Come on, Omaha.
God bless you. Yes. Good morning, Omaha. Good morning, Omaha. Good morning. Can I just do 2 things before I even get into my remarks? First, can we just give a round of applause before you do it? While Suzanne said that Willie stands on the shoulders of Dr. King, Willie reminds me of Dr. King. So give that brother a round of applause. You look like him too. And second, did Suzanne Hart not just rip the stage? My sister. You better tell your story. So I want to talk to the moment in which we find ourselves. And I want to talk to what I believe is the responsibility that we have as leaders to be honoring and responsive to this moment. And I want to begin, perhaps appropriately, by acknowledging the more recent events that I know have been heavy on my heart, and I take for granted have been heavy on your hearts. So as Willie appropriately opened us up with prayer, I'm going to appropriately follow his lead and ask you to join me for a moment of silence for the lives that have been lost in that tragic mass shooting in Buffalo. Thank you. I stand here before you on May 20th, 2022. It's not lost on me that 2 years and 5 days ago was the murder of George Floyd. We're approaching the 2-year anniversary of that tragic event. And I want to just bring you back to that moment. And I'm not going to re-traumatize you with scenes from the murder, but rather remind you through images of the response to that tragic event, not only here in Omaha, but across the globe. So I'll be silent once again. This might be the presentation I do with the fewest words, Suzanne. And just let you take in the imagery of 2 years and 5 days ago. Also not lost on me is that a year and a month ago from today was the verdict in the trial of Derek Chauvin. I want you to take in some of the images in the aftermath of the verdict of him being found guilty on 3 charges stemming from the murder of George Floyd. bless you. I don't think I'm being too grandiose in saying that I believe George Floyd's murder was the Rosa Parks moment of our generation. But it begs the question, when Rosa refused to give up her seat on that bus, that was a moment that sparked a movement, but how many people knew it was the beginning of a movement? If you asked folks back then, did you know you're in the midst of a movement? They'd be like, what movement are you talking about? Who knew? And while some, I'm sure, appreciated the significance of her act, there were scores that only on the benefit of retrospection could look back and say, I was in the midst of a movement, sparked by a moment. I got news for you, Omaha. We are in the moment right now. It begs the question, for us, is this a moment or is this a movement? And in fact, I am arguing that what is called upon for all of us is that we have to be able to channel what I call and what my co-author Dr. Robinson calls, I don't know if he's here yet, I'm going to shout him out when he does, is the secret sauce. That we have to step up in this moment to ensure that it is a movement by doing 5 things, and they're right there on your screen. First, if you're a leader in this moment, in this time, and you are all leaders, you've got to be strategic about how you move forward. As black faces in high places, we are responsible for being strategic in how we use the resources at our disposal to move forward an agenda that creates more equity in our society. To Suzanne's comments a moment ago, we've got to be authentic in who we are. This is a moment now, more than ever before, where our authenticity, as Suzanne just said, is called upon to bring and tell our story. Because it is your story and your authenticity that allows you to bring to the world what you were uniquely designed to bring to the world. We've got to be unapologetic. I'll say it more specifically, unapologetically black. It means being intentional. Intentional about not shying away from who you are and not being afraid to help people who look like you. And lastly, we must be community engaged. I'm channeling my inner Willie Barney in this moment. We've got to be engaged in our community, recognizing that somebody sacrificed for you, and you have an obligation to sacrifice for somebody else. And so, perhaps the moment that stands out from the past few months above all moments of channeling the secret sauce was this moment right here. Who saw it? Who saw it? Let me tell you, I thought this was Senator Cory Booker's most shining moment. Most shining moment. I'm going to get to Justice Brown Jackson in a moment. But if you didn't see it, you better go see it. You better go watch it on YouTube. But what Senator Booker did in the moment when Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was taking heat and taking fire and taking criticism and being asked questions that had nothing to do with being qualified, overqualified, to sit on the Supreme Court, he looked her dead in her eye and in front of that entire confirmation hearing said, you are ready, you have earned it, you are a great American, and you will be confirmed. Woo! And I gotta get off this stage before Willie pulls me, but there's 3 lessons from that moment, folks. Lesson number 1, do not shy away from opportunities to stand up for each other. Lesson number 2, oh, hold on, you can clap for that. Lesson number 2, I say to my brothers, we must stand up for our sisters in these moments when they need us most. To my brothers. And third, I say to Ketanji Brown Jackson, I call her the 5B sister. She is beautiful, she is brown, she is brilliant, she is bold, and she got braids. I'm not mad at her. I say that when you have earned it. Do not be afraid to claim it. And she earned it, and she claimed it. And so I have two more things to say before I get off this stage. Dr. Robinson and I, who you know as my business partner, my brother, my college roommate, my fraternity brother, my co-author, we've just released our second book, which talks about how you channel your secret sauce, how you can be strategic, how you can be authentic, unapologetic, and community engaged to allow yourself to tell the story that Suzanne Hart told you to share. And we have, for the past 4 years now, been working with the Empowerment Network on the Redefine the Game Institute, where we are working with leaders to become even greater leaders to affect change here in Omaha. If you're a part of the Redefine the Game Institute at any point, just stand real quick so folks can see you. I know I saw a couple of fellows in here. There we go. Give them a round of applause for these fellows from the Redefine the Game Institute. We've had 4 cohorts of the Redefine the Game Institute, and this 4th cohort is in the mix right now. So these are the folks we interviewed for the book. I'll let that ride, and I will go to my last slide. Y'all going to get me right on this slide. It's all right. I'll close on this without the slide. We're in a moment. The question remains, is this a movement? I don't know what the answer is. One more. Thank you, there we go. I don't know what the answer is, but I know where to find the answer. One more slide, hit me. The answer lies in you. Rise to the challenge, Omaha, as you always have. God bless you and thank you.